So, what do you think, Kelsey? Should we get started? Is everybody ready? Everybody here in the house? We got a lot of people enjoying the hospitality right here at Norman Motorsports. So, the first on the list, I can tell you, is Sportsman buggy. So, if you're watching at home, 1503 Jorge Valdez. There's only one entry. So, Kelsey, we'll show you this. There's only one entry, so it's pretty simple. No drawing there. Jorge will start first. Sportsman Unlimited Truck, same way. Jim Bunn, the 1444. He asked for a rear start. So if anybody else enters that class, he will start behind them. And like I said, 169 entries, which is way ahead of last year. And there'll be over 100 entries between now and the race, Kelsey. There'll be a lot more racers coming in. All right, next one would be Sportsman Limited Truck. There's only one entry right at this time, Charles Johnson Jr. So he will start first. Anybody else that enters after today will follow behind Charles. So that is Sportsman Truck, and that's 2069. So we'll move on to the next page. We're going to go into Sportsman Bikes. So that would be Sportsman Bike, Sportsman Motorcycle under 450. So we're going to put them up on the screen here right behind us. Did you have one for that? The arrow would be to the left. Yeah, rotating left, which would be under 450. We actually, it's pretty cool. We've got this put together. There we go, Sportsman Motorcycle. All right. So we're going to start out, Kelsey. Here's what we're going to do. Kelsey and I are going to work together. Kelsey, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy takes the rear start. So he doesn't really, so we'll only put 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll start out with 1. Pick 1, 2, 3, and 4. So right now we're going to go Fred Sobke, number 203X. Fred Sobke will draw the first spot, and he'll come down number 3. So Fred, you'll get number 3 start, and next will be Richard. Yeah. You want to show them? Okay. We're going to show you right there in this camera right here. And with the new HD, we could actually see everything with that. It's incredible. Okay, we'll put that right back. All right, next, Richard Amin, 206X. We're going to draw, so we'll go backwards about 3 or 4 times. All right. Whoa. We had our thing worked out. Go ahead. And we'll show that right in the camera. What number we got? 4. So 4 for Richard Amin. So he'll start 4 in the Sportsman Motorcycle under 450. All right. And that catches the ball. Should stop him right there. Okay. Number 1. So show that to the camera. This guy from Japan. So Horan Okada. Horani Oranor. This guy from Japan. So the last one would be number 2. We don't even need to draw that one. So Tim Fields will get the number 2 spot in Sportsman Motorcycle. So there you have it. Fred gets the 3, Richard the 4, Horon Arroya Okada in the number 1 spot. So the man from Japan gets the number 1 spot, the number 2 for Tim Fields. So we'll move on down to Sportsman Motorcycle. Now, this will be above, 450 and above, Andrew. We got a bunch in this class, a good amount. So you can see up here on the board. Let's make sure what we got. All right. 1, 2. Looks like 16. What do you think? So 16. So what we'll do is we'll put 16 in here. No, we'll just This is a completely different class. So 16 Sportsman motorcycle, 450 and above. I'll help you put some in there. And one more, 16. All right. We're drawing Sportsman motorcycle. 16 entries. The first guy will be Trent Weissnet on the 256X. You get the number 8. Trent, number 8. All right. Next up will be Thierry Moss on the 257X. This will be your starting spot. Number 6 for Thierry Moss. Honorombo Rubu Tabata. This is another Japanese rider. The 258X gets number 7 for the 258X of Hirono Taiso Nushi Namaki. 259X bike draws number 11. Number 11 for Tashiaki. Another Japanese rider, Tomohiro Mukarami, gets the number 12. He'll start right behind his buddy. All right, Scott Dolphin up next, the 266X. For watching at home, Scott, you draw 16. So you will start 16th. And we'll get more entries coming in between now and the race. Bill Cotton is up next, the 267X. Number 9 for Bill Cotton. All right. Eric Salzer up next on the 268X. Kelsey draws number 2. Good job. Eric gets the number 2. Bob Russell in the 271X coming up next. And he gets number 13 for Russell. Alan Martinez on the 275X. We'll see what Kelsey could pull for 3. Good job. Alan gets the number 3 spot. Will Salazar on the 284X Sportsman bike, number 5. He gets the 5th spot. Scott Darkow, the 289X bike, number 10. You can see right there on the camera. Kelsey doing a great job. All right, next up, Stuart Gordon, the 290X, gets the 15. You can see it right on the camera. All right. Up next, the Stephen, looks like Ankeny. He gets the number 1. Stephen gets the number 1. The 291X bike will start number 1. Todd Powell up next. 14 for Todd. And these are, if you just tuned in, we're doing Sportsman motorcycle 450 and above. And Servando gets the last one, so 4. He gets the number 4. So Servando gets the 4 spot. So that rounds out the Sportsman motorcycle. Now we're going to move into Sportsman ATVs. So we had one, Eric Dwiggins, if you're watching, your partner, you guys went ahead and moved from Sportsman ATV, which we'll have up here on the board, Sportsman ATV. Okay. So Sportsman ATV, 2 guys start in the rear start. Actually, 2 guys want the rear start, so we could actually draw all 5 of them. And we'll figure out who. Actually, these 2 guys want to start. So let's do the 3. Eric deciding to race in the pro class for UTV. So let's do 3, Kelsey. There we go. And we're drawing for Richard Epperson, Rodrigo Rubio, and Fidel Gonzalez are running the 3 spots for Sportsman ATV. And Richard, number 2, you can see on the camera. All right, Rodrigo Rubio, 55A. He gets the number 3. So that leaves Fidel Gonzalez with the number 1. All right, so what we'll do is we'll put the 2 back in here, because these guys are both going for a rear start. So we'll figure out between John and Rusty who's going to be ahead of the other guy. They both want a rear start. So we'll draw for John. He gets the number 1. So that leaves Rusty number 2 for the rear start. All right, so that takes care of that. All right, moving along. You guys at home, I know they're all watching right now. Here comes the big motorcycle class right now, class 22. 7 entries. So we'll put 7 inside. A lot of them, I know Robbie Bell, Timmy Wiegand, Kirk Caselli, all the guys at home right now, Kendall Norman, watching to see who is going to get the top spot. So 7 guys going for class 22. Here we go for Timmy Wiegand, Team Honda. These guys won San Felipe 250. Number 3 for Timmy Wiegand. Johnny and the guys watching at home. Up next, Kirk Caselli for KTM. Kirk Caselli finishing in the second. Number 5 starting spot for Kurt. Robbie Bell up next for Kawasaki. Robbie gets number 1, Robbie. Once again, Robbie Bell drew the number 1 at San Felipe. Again, draws the number 1 starting spot for the 500. Mark Adams, number 4. Aaron Wright on the 7X bike, up next. Eric, number 7 for 7. 7 for 7, that's pretty good. What are the odds of that? All right, Nicola Duto, the number 2. So he gets the number 2 spot, and that'll leave Kendall Norman with the number 6. So Kendall Norman, he's down in La Paz maybe still, gets the number 6 spot. All right, class 21. This is, do we have it up there yet? Class 21. We got to kind of show. Here we go, class 21. All right, we got 4 entries, so we'll put 4 inside. Kenneth Slater, Carlos. We got Adam Newworth and Jim O'Neill on the 127X. The first up is Kenneth Slater. Gets number 3. These are the 450 bikes, the pros. Stock 450. Carlos Valazula, number 2. Carlos, you get the number 2 spot. He's on the 114X. We'll start number 2. Adam Newworth on the 120X will start number 1. And now we'll leave Jim O'Neill starting number 4 on the 127X bike. So Jim O'Neill. So we'll go over the bikes real quick if you just tuned in. Timmy Wiegand will start number 3. Kirk Caselli number 5. Robbie Bell number 1. Mark Adams number 4. Aaron Wright number 7. Nicola Duto number 2. Kendall Norman number 6. In the 21 class, Ken Slater number 3. Carlos number 2. Adam Newworth number 1. Jimmy O'Neill number 4. All right, now we're going to move into the over 30 class, the pro class. We have 6 riders, Kelsey. So we're going to put 6 in there. So Cliff Cook, Javier Hernandez. This is class 30, class 30 pro. Over 30 guys. You can see right up here on the screen. Tecate score, Baja 500, 45th annual. And we have the number 2 for Cliff Cook. Cliff Cook, you get the number 2 spot. Next is Javier Hernandez on the 302X. He gets number 3 for Javier. Up next, the 303X of Ryan. Look, good tile. Ryan draws the number 6. All right, Jay Rabjohn on the 304X. Number 5 for Jay. Robert Riggs up next on the 306X. We're talking over 30 pro. Number 4 for Robert. And that just rounds out, guess what? Brad Baker, you get number 1. Pretty simple. Brad, the number 1 spot. So that takes care of over 30 pro class. Let's go into the over 40. We're going to step it up. We've got 3 guys running in this, Kelsey. Mike Prunty, Oscar Faz, and Lloyd Andrew. Believe me, by the time we have 169 entries, if you just tuned in, way more, a little more than last year, and we'll have over 100 between now and the race. We have number 3 for Mike Prunty. So Mike Prunty, you get the 3rd spot. That's the 402X bike. The 403X bike of Oscar Faz will be drawing this one right here. He gets number 2, and that'll leave the number 1 to Lloyd Andrew. So we can just put that back in. We'll put the 2 more back in. We're going to have 2 entries coming up next, guys. Class 50, over 50 pro. Here we go. So we got Mark Prince and Carlos Valdez. And right now, Mark Prince will draw number 2, and that'll leave the number 1 spot to Carlos Valdez. Good. All right, we're going to do the pro ATVs. And in class 25, well, Kelsey, we only have 1, so it makes it pretty simple. Ryan Lee, you asked for a rear start. Well, right now, you're starting number 1. But when everybody else signs up, Ryan will move you back behind those. So right now, only 1 in class 25. All right, class 24. We had an addition. Eric Dwiggins moved out of the Sportsman class and got into the pro class earlier tonight. So in the 111A. So we're going to draw 4 of these guys for pro ATVs. And here we go. Tom Wright is the first to go. Tom, number 2. You see right there on the camera, Tom. Next up, Sean Robbins on the 102A. Number 3 for Sean. All right, Alejandro Oblos. He gets the number 1 spot. Alejandro, you draw number 1. So that'll leave Eric Dwiggins with the 4 spot. You'll start number 4, Eric. I know Eric's here in the house. His partner's here, I know for a fact. All right. Now we're going to get into the cars. You guys ready for some cars? Okay. The fans are going crazy. All right. If you haven't, you still got time to come down here. We got plenty of time. We're going to be here late tonight, so come by, join us. We're going to do 1, 2, 1600. We got 8, 1, 2, 1600, so we'll put 8 of them. And actually, I wonder how we got 1, 2. Let's put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just put in the 5. We got rear starts for 3 guys, so we'll put 5 of them in there. Yeah. 1, 2, 1600 for Kevin Price. He draws number 1 right off the bat. All right, Jesus Velez in the 1615 is up next. Number 2. Man, right in order. So Christian Sila will draw in the 1636. Number 4 for Christian. Then Elicio Garcia, 1649, number 3 for Elicio. And then the last one would be Rodrigo Eldorade. He gets the number 5. Now what we're going to end up doing, just to separate these guys from the rear start, you guys watching at home, if you're at home, Miguel, Wes, and Jorge, we'll put 3 of them in here, and we'll draw for rear start positions for you 3 guys. So how it'll work is the guys that sign up between the 5th from all the way to these guys, that's where you guys will start. So right now, Miguel Cortez draws the number 2 rear start position out of the 3. Then Wes McKenzie in the 1648 will draw number 1. You can see right there on the camera. Wes gets the number 1 start, and that'll leave the number 3 for Jorge. So Jorge will get the 3rd spot, and these guys will do the last 3 starts. All right, Class 3, if you're watching out there, we can put Class 3 up here. We only have 1 entry, which at this time will be Chris Wilson. Chris is the only one right now, so. You didn't know that? I didn't know. Okay. All right, coming up next, Class 5, there's 2. Kevin Carr and Cody Kellogg so far entered in Class 5, and we'll draw right here. Kevin Carr, 2012 champion in Class 5. So here we go, Kevin. See what we can do for you. Number 1 for Kevin. So Kevin draws the number 1. Cody Kellogg will get the number 2 spot. All right. So we're moving along. We're going into 5/1600. We have 2 entries. Carlos Rivera and Clyde Stacy. Clyde Stacy wanting a rear start. So what we'll end up doing is we're going to give Carlos Rivera the number 1 spot, and we'll give Clyde Stacy, he starts in the rear. So he wants the rear start for 5/1600. All right, makes it simple. All right, next up, score lights. We've got 3. Rafael Navarro, the 4th, Ricardo Malo, and Leonardo Reyes. These 2 guys want rear starts. So it looks like we'll just give the number 1 spot to Rafael. And then let's draw, how many we got in there? Let's put 2 in there. Let's take 1 out. Let's take, let's leave that. We'll put that one back in. Just go ahead and we'll see what, is that a 3? Okay, so we'll leave the 3 out. Here you go. What we're going to do right now, guys, you're watching Eric Solorzano and Greg Reno, they want rear starts. Gregory, so we'll draw it's Ricardo. Ricardo Malo, what number? 1. So Ricardo, you'll get the first rear start ahead of Leonardo. If you understand, these guys with the R, they want the rear start position. So we only had 1 guy in score lights. Same with Class 11. Class 11 coming up next. And Rene Rodriguez will get the number 1 starting position as Eric Solorzano and Gregory Perino will get the 2 rear starts. So I guess we could roll for those 2. We'll see who starts ahead of the other in the rear, because there will be more entries in between Renee and Eric. Whoop. Number 1 for Eric. Eric will get the number 1. And the number 2 will go to Gregory. And these 2 will be the rear start. All right. In Class 3000, folks, coming up, if you just tuned in, David, it's Boynton is the only entry. So in Class 3000, you'll start number 1 in the 30-22. All right. Coming up next, we got 2 entries in the trophy truck spec class. We have David, looks like Kleeman, and Clyde Stacy. Clyde Stacy wanting a rear start for that truck also. That'll leave David with the number 1 starting spot in the new trophy truck spec class, which we want to see some more entries in that. It's definitely a neat class. They could run a stock motor, some great class. I think it's going to be the future class. All right, in Pro Truck, we have, looks like just one entry, and that would be Chelsea Magnus. So Chelsea will get the number 1 spot. We don't have to draw. There's only one entry in Pro Truck. All right, let's go to Class 10. Got a bunch in Class 10. This is a huge class that definitely has been picking up. Very competitive Class 10. We have 19 entries, folks. Everybody here watching, 19 we're going to stick inside. Nobody wants a rear start. Okay. So we're going to do 19 inside this cage. Mikey Lawrence will be first up, followed by Andrew Myers for the first 2, and Perry McNeil. So 19 going around. We'll roll them things up real good. Here we go for Mikey Lawrence, 2012 champion in Class 10, draws 11. Mikey's out there. Man, you got no good luck for me. All right. Andrew Myers, the winner at the HDRA race a few weeks ago, draws number 4 for Andrew Myers and Ross Savage. Perry McNeil up next. Perry McNeil in the 1003, number 15 for Perry. I don't think Perry is here. I think Perry's here. I saw a truck. Victor Valdez in the 1004 draws the number 6 for Victor. Up next, Mark Lawrence in the 1008. He gets the number 5. You can see right there on the camera, Mark. Up next, John Langley, doing it for Cops. Draws number 9 for the Langleys. Cody Robinson up next, the 16-16 or 10-16 of Cody. Number 1 for Cody Robinson. Wow. There's a competitor. Man, this guy can do it. Up next, Chris Boyer, the Boyers on 10-21. Draw number 16 for Chris Boyer. It's probably like, man. Up next, Lee Banning. Very tough, won the 1,000 last year. Number 2 for Lee Banning. I know Lee watching at home. Number 2. Mike Johnson up next in the 1031. Here we go, Mike. Number 12, right in the camera there for you. Mike Johnson, number 12. Here comes Matt Cullen, another tough competitor, 1039. Number 13, the lucky 13 for Matt. All right, Lars Ferry in the 1042 gets number 14. Okay, up next is John Jesus. John gets number 8 for John in the 1048. Brad Wilson from the Wilson Motorsports, 1053 car, number 18. Wow. All right, Cash Vessels driving the 1055. Number 7 for Cash. All right, J.J. Shanar in the 1062 draws number 3 for J.J. Good spot for J.J. Mike Schaefer up next, 1066. Draws 19 for Mike Schaefer, the last spot. All right, Peter Hodges is up next with the 17 for Peter. And the last guy, Arnaldo Gutierrez Jr., gets number 10. So that rounds out Class 10. We got 19 drivers. All right, up next, Class 7. Dan Chamley, the 2012 champion in Class 7. There's only one entry, so it makes it pretty simple. Dan, you will start number 1. All right, 7,200 class. There's 4 entries. We'll get 4 of them in. Class 7,200 right there. Joe Ramirez, Steve Kovac, Darren Skelton, and Jonathan Brenthal. We'll see who gets. Joe is up first for number 4 for Joe Ramirez. Still some good spots for Darren and Steve. and Jonathan. Steve Kovac. Number 3 for Steve. Well, Darren Skelton and Jonathan Brenthal, 50-50 shot here at the number 1. Number 1 for Darren Skelton. That leaves the number 2 for Jonathan Brenthal. So class 7200. All right, moving down to class 72S. It's 7SX. There's only one. Eduardo Gonzalez, and he asked for a rear start. There's only one anyway, so he'll start whoever else signs up. All right, class 8. Let's turn the page and see. We have 5 entries, so let's put 4. 4 of them want front starts. 1 wants a rear start. Derek Fletcher wants a rear start. So Jose Leon, Rick Sanchez, Arturo Benavides, Enrique Aguirre will be drawn for right here. Jose Leon. Number 1 for Jose. Jose gets the number 1 spot in Class 8 in the 801. 808 of Rick Sanchez. Number 2 for Rick. Arturo Benavides in the 809. Arturo. Number 3 for Arturo. And up next would be Enrique, would get the number 4 spot. And that would leave Derek Fletcher with the rear start. Class 8. You want to go to a commercial? Huh? Let's go to a commercial. But you don't? Okay. We're just moving along. You guys ready for UTVs? Okay. We got 4 of them. 4 UTVs. We know the guys at Polaris sitting at home with their guy, Matt Parks, who definitely took San Felipe for Polaris and Jagged X. We're going to draw for Mark Shelbert. He'll get the first ball. Number 1 for Mark. Mark draws the number 1 in the 1903. In the 1905, this will be Mark Burnett. Mark Burnett, the freestyle guy. Number 2 for Mark Burnett. Mark, if you're watching at home, good spot. Derek Murray, the Murray guys, doing it for Can-Am, along with Mark Burnett, gets 3. Well, all I can say, Matt Parks, you get the number 4 spot. Matt Parks will start in number 4, doing it for Polaris. All right. We're going to go to commercial. We'll be right back with Class 1 and trophy trucks. We'll be right back.
The Eldorado brought you Power Pennies, where you get bonus spins for free play and bonuses follow you. Now, we're giving you more power to win with Power Ponies. Now win 5 times more on hourly races. More power to win. Win free play daily with random birthday bonus. Fantastic Friday slot tournaments. Win up to $1,000. Play Power Pennies at the Eldorado.
The Eldorado Reno 500 and Dirt Live Off-Road Expo and Vehicle Demonstration combined with off-road racing in Reno, Nevada, July 7th through the 13th. Come enjoy this jam-packed week of Monster Freestyle Motocross, Ninja Stunt Bike Team with a 2-day off-road explosion, and race tech under the famous arch in downtown Reno. Unlimited pre-running starts Sunday, July 7th with free off-road expo. Standard entry fees, no increase for this big race. Arrive and drive race programs are available through Wide Open Excursions. For complete details, visit hdarace.com or dirtliveexpo.com. All events are free.
Hey, we're back. Let's give it up. Let's have the fans at home can hear everybody. Let's hear how big the crowd is here upstairs. Give it up for the drawing. All right, that's more like it, right, Kelsey? We want to make sure the lights are pretty bright, so we can't see everybody back there. So we want to make sure. What do you guys think about Class 1 coming up next? Right, this is where we're getting into the big boys. All right, how we work this out, folks, if you're at home, you're here in the studio, Kelsey, here's how we do this. These top 12 guys, there were 7, the top finishers from San Felipe. They get to draw first, okay? Out of those 7, one of them is missing, which would, be Luke McMillan. Luke McMillan's going to drive a trophy truck. Yeah, this is Class 1. We'll put it right up here. And we're only going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're actually going to take Eric Harp out right here. So we're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're going to put 5 in here, folks. Cody Parkhouse, Justin Matney, Eduardo Laguna, we call him Lalo, Randy Wilson, Ronnie Wilson. Here's what we're drawing for. These are qualifying positions, not how you start the race. This is how you'll start your qualifying. Number 5 for Cody Parkhouse. Cody, the 2012 champion. Justin Matney. Here's how Justin will start qualifying. Number 4 for Justin. He'll get the 4th spot. Okay, Lala Laguna out of Mexico will get number 1 for Lalo, the 18-year-old from Mexico. Randy Wilson in the 138 Class 1 car will start qualifying in number 2. So that'll leave the number 3 spot for his brother, Ronnie Wilson. All right. Everybody understand that? The first guys that we just drew for, the top 5, are the guys that finished in the top 12 in San Felipe. That's how it works. If you're watching at home. We'll do the same with the trophy trucks. The top 12 that finished in San Felipe will get the first draw at the qualifying starting spot. All right, here we go. We're going to start off. Now we're going to go down here, Kelsey, with Josh Rigsby and move down the list. So we have 5 up here, so we'll start with number 6. And the 6th ball will go. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18. We'll do 18. So we'll put 18 in. Yeah, we'll start. Actually, you're right. We'll start with, let's start with number 6 and go put 18 of them in there. So we'll go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, we'll have 18 of them in there. And here we go for Josh Rigsby in qualifying. These are only qualifying spots for Class 1. So Josh, you will qualify, start in the number 9 spot. So Josh Rigsby, number 9. Up next is Lyle Bask in the 114. Number 13 for Lyle. Todd Tulls in the 115. Todd, you will start qualifying in the number 10 spot. Corey Kaiser, very tough competitor, will start qualifying in number 7. We got Jose Conchola. Jose in the 122, number 6. Was that, let's see, wait a minute. Yeah, it is. How did we get, okay, that was the other 6 we were looking for. Thank you. Number 6 for Jose. All right, George Peters up next in the 131. Number 8 for George. John Martinson will, in the 141, will qualify in the 12th spot. He'll take off 12. Eric Jacobs up next in the 16th spot. Eric, you got 16. Vincent Galwick. Vincent will be the 15th spot, qualifying. Hiram Durham. Hiram will, in the 170, number 17 for Hiram. Brady Turner, the 182. Number 11 for Brady. All right, next up, the 187 of Ryan Sharman. Ryan Sharman, 18, qualifying spot. John Walker will start 14th. All right, here's what we're going to do. We'll just throw 2 in here. We'll throw 1 and 2 for 2 rear start guys. We have Eric Harp asked for a rear start. And Ron Gibbs. So Ron Gibbs will draw the number 1. So that works out right because then Eric Harp will start in that second spot. So that's class 1. Out of the books, we can read this down the list real quick before we hand the paperwork back. If you're watching, we're going to start out with Laguna Eduardo, which we call him Lalo, starts number 1 for the RPM team. Second would be Randy Wilson. Third, Ronnie Wilson. In the 4th spot, Justin Matney. In the 5th spot, Cody Parkhouse. We move on down the list. In the 6th spot is Jose Conchola. In the 7th spot is Corey Kaiser. In the 8th spot, George Peters. In the 9th spot, Josh Rigsby. 10th spot is Todd Tulls. The 11th spot is Brad Turner. The 12th spot is Martinson in the 141. The 13th spot will be Lyle Bassick in the 114. In the 14th spot, as we move down to Johnny Walker. In the 15th spot, Vincent Galwick. 16th is Eric Jacobs. 17th is Hiram Durham. And the 18th is Ryan Sharman. And that'll be your 18. Top of the 18. Ron Gibbs, you'll start rear start with Eric Harp. So class 1. All right, is everybody ready for the big one? The trophy trucks. Trophy trucks coming up. This is it. 36 entries to date. We talked earlier about this. 169 entries as of today. We'll have 100 plus between now and the race. And this is the 45th annual Tecate Score Baja 500. You can see right up here on the board, trophy truck, Monster Energy. Kelsey up here with me, helping me. What we're going to do here, folks, is the top 12 guys that finished in San Felipe are all entered in this race. They're all entered. So, Kelsey, we're going to put 12 of the balls inside. For BJ, Mark Wyrick, Rob McCachran, Juan Lopez, Tim Herbst, Vidosala, Jimmy Knuckles, Zach Langley, Craig Potts, Bryce Menzies, Jesse Jones, and Nick Vanderway will go for the top 12 qualifying spots. And here we go. BJ Baldwin. Now, let's see what kind of luck you have. This is her favorite driver right here. Let's see what she draws. And she draws a number 1 for BJ Baldwin. That's her favorite guy. BJ, if you're watching at home, the first guy to go off and qualify. All right, number 2 guy. Number 6 goes to Mark Wyrick. I know some of his guys are here from next door. Rob McCachran up next. Let's see what Rob could draw. Rob Mack will start qualifying in the 7th spot for Rob McCachran. Juan Lopez, RPM out of Mexico, will qualify 12th. So he will be the last guy to qualify out of that group. Tim Herbst up next. These guys won 10. So the 10 spot, these guys are leading right now in the World Championship. Tim Herbst will start number 10. Here's your winner from San Felipe, Gus Vadosala. Number 3 for Gus, Tavo gets the 3rd spot. Jimmy Knuckles up next in the 48. Number 11 for Jimmy Knuckles. Up next is Zach Langley. Zach and the guys running for the World Championship. Number 2 for Zach Langley. Craig Potts up next in the 59. Number 8 for Craig Potts. Next up, Bryce Menzie, very busy guy down there in racing in Brazil. Bryce Menzie. Number 9 for Bryce, qualifying. Jesse Jones up next. We're down to 2. The 5 spot for Jesse Jones. That would leave number 4 for Nick Vanderway. All right, that will round out the top 12. Now what we'll do is start 13 right here with Mark Post. So we'll put 13 all the way to 36. We want to thank everyone at home watching live right here on Dirt Live. Thank you for joining us for the drawing for the 45th annual Tecate Score Baja 500 coming up May 30th through June 2nd, Ensenada, Mexico. So we got 36 in there. We're going to go starting with Mark Post. Qualifying spot for Mark Post in the number 3. He will 22 for Mark Post. Next up, Steven Eugenio. Steven Eugenio, 27 for Steven. Next up, Greg Nunley. Greg Nunley, number 10. 13. How about the girls? Heidi Steele up next. Heidi Steele, see what kind of girl power. 25 for the girls. Armin Schwartz up next. 31 for Armin. All right, we'll move over to Cameron Steele in the number 16. 35 for Cameron. Robbie Pierce up next in the number 20. Number 20 for the 20. So Robbie Pierce gets 20. Dan McMillan, the 23 truck. 14 for Dan McMillan. These are all qualifying spots. Jerry Reichert, the number 19 truck, brand new truck. He'll start 19th. Alan Pfluger in the 28. 32 for Alan Pfluger. Is that 32? Okay. Ken Loesch up next in the 34. 36 for Ken Loesch. Next up, Jason Voss out of Northern California. 34 for Jason Voss. Next up, number 39 of Ron Witten. Number 30 for Ron Witten. Todd Jorgensen. Jorgensen will get the 16th, right? 16th spot for Todd. Gary Magnus in the 45. 21 for Gary. Now remember, these are just qualifying starting spots. Corey Sheeler. 24 for Corey Sheeler. Mark Workington in the 55. 15 for Mark. Mike Palmer in the 57. The 28 spot. Well, let's see what this guy can do. Robbie Gordon up next in the 77. Let's see what Robbie can get. 33 for Robbie Gordon. 33 starting qualifying spot. Jesse Ashcraft up next. 17 for Jesse. Well, let's see what this young man can do after his win in HDRA race a few weeks ago. Justin Davis, 23 qualifying spot for Justin Davis. All right, Sergio Salgado in the 88. 26 for Sergio. Troy Herbst. 29 for Troy Herbst. And Gary Wyrick will get the last spot. 18 for Gary Wyrick. Well, what do you think? We can read it down real quick. What do you think, Dominic? We'll read it down real quick before we'll turn them over. The first 12 go off in qualifying. B.J. Baldwin draws the number 1. The number 2 spot goes to Zach Langley. The number 3 spot goes to Vadosila. The number 4 spot goes to Nick Vanderway. Number 5, Jesse Jones. Number 6 of Wyrick. Number 7 of Rob McCachran. Number 8 of Craig Potts. Number 9, Bryce Menzie. And number 10 is Tim Herbst. The number 11, Jimmy Knuckles. The last spot in that first 12 goes to Juan Lopez. And then we'll start with the other guys. And pretty much you heard the 13th spot. Big list here. So we'll get these up on the website. We'll have them up there for you, posted. And shortly, we got pretty much done with all classes. Well, let's we're still live here in San Diego at our studio at Dirt Live. Kelsey, maybe we should bring up some people up here. Rodrigo Ampudia, are you still here? Rodrigo Ampudia. We're going to go to a commercial. We'll be right back. We're going to have some guests join us on the show. Be right back.
The Eldorado Reno 500 and Dirt Live Off-Road Expo and Vehicle Demonstration combined with off-road racing in Reno, Nevada, July 7th through the 13th. Come enjoy this jam-packed week of Monster Freestyle Motocross, Ninja Stunt Bike Team with a 2-day off-road explosion, and race tech under the famous arch in downtown Reno. Unlimited pre-running starts Sunday, July 7th with free off-road expo. Standard entry fees, no increase for this big race. Arrive and drive race programs are available through Wide Open Excursions. For complete details, visit hdarace.com or dirtliveexpo.com. All events are free.